God is gonna change somebody's life. Just believe it. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of no way. Yes, He will. He opens the door. Yes, He will. He will make a way. Yes, He will. Out of no way. Yes, He will. He will. He will. He breaks out the chains. Yes, He will. He will set you free. Yes, He will. Give you a new life. He will. He will. He will. After the sorrow and pain, then comes joy. Hold on tight to your God. Don't let go, 'cause He'll never fail you. He'll open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you've lost it all, He will make a way for you out of the way. Yes, He will. He'll give you that peace. Yes, He will. He'll give you that joy. Yes, He will. He'll give you that love. He will. Yes, He will. He will. He will. He'll take away that pain. Yes, He will. He'll take away that trouble. He will.
Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. Lord, we thank you for your mercy, your kindness. Father, we thank you for your love. Lord, we thank you for everything. Father, we know that you give us the ingenuity, the foresightedness, the wisdom, the energy to be able to present this show every Wednesday. Father, we appreciate that. Lord, we pray that you're going to touch everyone who is going to listen to this show. And we pray that, Lord, whatever thing will be said on African Cocktail this day, Lord, it should go a long way to develop our beautiful African continent. We count on your mercy. We count on your love. Through your Son we've prayed. Amen.
For you out of the way. Yes, He will. He opens the door. Opens the door. Opens the door. Yes, He will. He will. He will make a way out of no way. He will make a way out of no way. He will make a way out of no way. He will. God will open the doors for you. Just when you think that you lost it all, He will.
Just when you think that you've lost it all, God will make it for you. That one is titled Yes, He Will, and it's done by Susie Okum. Susie Okum is a gospel artist based in Garoua. Garoua is the chief town of the northern region of Cameroon, precisely the North Regional Headquarters. And she is a gospel artist who is up and coming. She is a nominee of the upcoming African Gospel Music Awards. She was one of our guests at large some time ago on this show. To her we say thank you so much for that beautiful and soul-searching piece this morning. And for you out there, for you just joining us, we want to say welcome to the 64th episode of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio this day, Wednesday, the 3rd of September 2014. It's definitely going to be a fantastic episode of this show. We are supposed to have a very special main guest in this edition of African Cocktail. Gasha is her name. She is the current best female artist of Central Africa as per the African Music Magazine Awards, Afrima. Gasha has been sojourning the United States for the past couple of weeks. We hope to have her on this show today. We're doing everything technically possible to be able to have her on the show. Then we shall also have Fred Keyanti talking to us from the Chadian capital of N'Djamena. Oh, if he's on the field, then he will definitely be calling us from another part of that Central African country. Fred Keyanti is a movie producer. He is the CEO of Cam Movies, a production house, and he will be telling us about a giant film project he's initiating, and he describes it as the most gigantic film project Cameroon is ever going to have. He will be telling us about that just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail. Then when we go to Maryland, we shall be talking to two artists. The first one is a movie actress. Her name Fatih Keita. She hails from Guinea Conakry. She shall be telling us about her career and how she has put her voice in the fight against the deadly Ebola virus that has struck West Africa. We shall also be listening to Black Baby, a young Cameroonian singer who is based in New York but who is currently visiting Maryland. Then we shall have our regular reports as usual. Titus Banyo will be reporting from Antwerp, Belgium. We shall have Solomon Atta from Johannesburg, South Africa. And of course, Ifana Kwala will be talking from Douala, the economic capital of Cameroon, just in this 64th episode of African Cocktail. But then, today we shall have our telling track slot. Telling track is that music, that track that is embedded with lots and lots of meaning, pregnant with meaning. And so at this moment, if you are listening to us, you don't have to get up and dance. You just have to set your ears wide open and listen to the message in that song. It's a piece we've had on this show before. I'm bringing it again because the message in it is very salient, and I would want you to listen to it, then decode it. And if you feel like you're inspired, just dial your fingers on 614-987-5097 and tell us. Also remember that we shall be having our African Tele Review slot in this edition of African Cocktail. At exactly 17 minutes past 10, let's begin with our telling track. And that one is titled Panko System by Prince Nico Mbarga. Listen carefully, please. Don't dance. Just listen.
Oh, this world, ideo, 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 Baba.
They surprise me too much, he say. When some people they enjoy their money, and when you tell them the existence of God, they no go want to listen to you at all. But when bad sickness don't come for them, Baba, now that time they go remember saying God, them go say, God help me, oh. God help me, oh. Make I know that, I go serve you, I go remember you. Take my money, yeah, take my property, but just give me my life to me.
Africa Radio.
they surprise me too much. Say, when some people they enjoy their life, and when you tell them about the existence of God, they no go want to listen to you at all. But when they don't begin suffer, now that time they go begin to blame God. Them go say, God help me, oh. God help me, oh. Make I know that I go serve you, I go remember you. Take my money, yeah, take my property, but just give me my life to me. Tell me who you work with, and I'll tell you what you are. That's the number one philosophy when I learn. Tell me, oh. Birds of this land better flock together. Birds of this land better flock together. Good company they breed good people, you know. Bad company they breed bad people. Anything where you plant, now it you go harvest. Rockabilly just don't plant banco system for you. Banco system now good fruit to eat. Yes, you know we plant beans to harvest cocoyam. You know we plant rice to harvest plantain. You know we plant yam to harvest cassava. Banco
Africa Radio.
come to stay. There is no problem without a solution at all. No problem, we don't get how to solve them. Anyhow you solve them, solution na solution. Tell me, yeah. Na so. Whether good or bad, solution na solution. Tell me, yeah. Solution na solution.
that one is titled Panko System by the legendary Prince Nico Mbarga of blessed memory. He passed on long ago, but then his music plays on. I hope you got the message in that song. We don't need to comment about it. We simply say sang commentaire. This is the 64th episode of African Cocktail, coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. This day, September the 3rd, 2014. We're having difficulties having our main guest in this episode of this show, but then we're doing everything possible to have her, and whenever she indicates her presence, then we're going to have Gasha on this show, but then we shall also have other guests talking in this edition of African Cocktail, precisely Fatih Keita, Guinean actress, Fred Kayanti, Cameroonian movie producer, and of course Black Baby, Cameroonian singer. Our reporters are on standby in Johannesburg, in Antwerp, and of course in Douala. Okay, this is African Cocktail, the 64th episode. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a one-stop shop with a friendly and caring service in the community? Then A&G Commerce is the place to be. Hi, this is Golda. I want to invite you to visit A&G Commerce Limited. We provide money transfer services, bill payment, money orders, and phone minutes. We also carry phones, 220-volt appliances, televisions for Africa, African groceries, beauty products, and many more. Our address is 5775 Cleveland Avenue. Our phone number is 614-437-9776. We're open from Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. We're closed on Sundays. A&G Commerce, the place to be. A&G Commerce, we're here for you.
Matilda, Nayuni, she's back, I'm back, she's back, I'm back. Come on. I tell my Gary, I know the worry. Every time I go, them see me happy. I don't get money time, oh, I dey work my money.
Okay, that's just a tip of the iceberg there from Matilda. That one is titled One Day It Go Better. But then we shall be having mostly contemporary music in this edition of African Cocktail. And let's begin with Myra Maimo in this one, Whatever I Promise. Then we breeze to go to Maryland, where one of our guests is already on standby. Fatih Keita will be yours in just a moment. Don't just go away. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo, September the 3rd, 2014. Broadcasting from Columbus, Ohio, US of A.
Like the
Our hearts to victims of the Ebola virus in West Africa, precisely in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Nigeria. We are thinking about them, and we shall keep talking about the fight against this deadly virus on this show because it concerns us. We are Africans. It is a major health crisis which concerns everybody. Lots and lots of efforts are being made, especially the diaspora, to help out. And we hope that wherever you are, you can always chip in a helping hand. This is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Just right ahead, we are moving to Maryland. Vous êtes à l'écoute de Africa Radio et l'émission qui passe maintenant c'est African Cocktail avec votre ami de chaque mercredi Ernest Kanjo. Il est 10h35 ici dans le studio de Africa Radio situé à Columbus, Ohio. Nous sommes aux États-Unis. 64th episode of African Cocktail reaching you, and of course you're listening to that beautiful piece there by Ex Malaya. That one is titled Bouger. Okay, at exactly 10:35 by our studio clock, let's move on to Maryland to receive our first guest in this episode of the show. Her name is Fati Keita. She is a Guinean actress who has decided to join us on the show today and tell us more about her career. Okay, let us move on to Maryland and find out if Fati Keita is already on the line. Fati Keita, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Comment ça va?
Ça va, merci.
Vous êtes bienvenue sur Africa Radio. Hein?
Merci.
Ok. Fati Keita, vous êtes l'une d'actrices bien connue de la diaspora guinéenne et vous êtes aussi très concernée par l'actuelle crise de la santé dans votre pays. Dites-nous, comment avez-vous senti lorsque tu as appris cette mauvaise nouvelle d'Ebola?
I will say that Ebola outbreak was a shocking and sad news. Like knowing that a random virus coming out of nowhere and just be taking innocent people's life hurts me more than anything. Just talking about it hurts my feeling because I'm gonna be emotional about it. And it's also like that we all know how African economic is.
Right.
The country is poor, people are suffering, and then my country and other countries going through the crisis, and knowing that we can't do anything about it, it's very sad. Very, very sad.
I can imagine.
Yes.
So, just tell me, have you been communicating with people back home, and what are they telling you precisely?
I did. I started to work with a lady named Aya Jawara. She's I I can say the Oprah of my country. So I was talking to her about it, that she's here right now in America. So we have a project that we're gonna be working on together. But for now, to be honest, I only did a commercial, a challenge, and I did a donation about it. And next week, hopefully, I am ready to do a raising awareness about it.
Right.
Teach people how to deal with it. Now, it's not just because nobody wished for this. No one. You know what I mean?
I understand.
So I want to not educate them, but everybody to educate each other about it.
Right.
To know how to deal with it, with those who have already been infected, because you know how African people are. As soon as they know that you have some disease or something is happening to you, everybody stayed away from you. So I want to let them know that there is hope.
Right.
Cure. There is hope for everyone. We should have faith and be there for the loved ones. Treat them with love and compassion. Never give up on them.
Fatikator, I noticed that the 2014 Miss Guinea beauty contest just took place, and you're quite involved in the organization. Now, tell me, did the Ebola crisis, come up as something specific to be handled, especially by these beauty queens who are always obliged to have a social project on the agenda. So did you talk about Ebola at this year's edition of Miss Guinea?
Actually, I did, but I wasn't the only person that did. All the contestants were talking about it, and some of the queen, even the winner of this year, which is my best friend, that I'm proud of her, she was talking about it. That everybody should be united, and we should fight it.
Right. Not
just stand and let Ebola win over everyone. So we should just be there for one and each other and fight for the cause.
And so, have you been working with other organizations, most precisely charity organizations, that are involved in this fight against Ebola?
I did. I worked with a lady. She's an actress, a host, Miss Ngile. I already did a commercial with her and so many actors that everybody was involved in. That is coming up soon. So we're working on that for now.
Okay. So, like I said earlier on, you are also a movie actress. Could you just tell us about your career? When did you get into acting, and what inspired you?
It's like I started in 2011, which from Miss Guinea, North America, where I was Miss Congeniality.
Right.
And from there, I started as a model. And there was a producer named Kobe Maxwell that approached me, and I think he saw something in me that myself I didn't see in myself. So yeah, he approached me. He was like, "I would like to put you in the movie." I'm not an actress. It was so funny. I'm not an actress. I'm a model. Right. And then he was like, "No, you can just try it. You will see." And since then, I fell in love with it because the way actors interact, and they treated me for the first time that I was on set and everything, that made me fall in love with acting.
Okay, maybe before we continue talking about your life as an actress, could you just take us a little bit behind to talk about your career as a model? How did it go? And just tell us, what achievements did you have as a model?
I would say that I achieved a lot of things. I met a lot of amazing people like you right now. And I worked with a lot of people.
Right.
A lot of people that I can't even call their name, but all thanks to Howard Berry, which is the CEO of Miss Guinea North America. I started with her. I was a very, very shy person. She helped me go through everything, you know what I mean? And she was there for me like a mother. Since then, because she was a model since I think 1991 or something, so she was my role model. It's from her that I went through everything. I just follow her footsteps. Yeah.
So were you a face model?
A face model, you said?
Which one were you, a face model or what?
I did most of them. I did the runway fashion
runway.
shows,
Right.
and I present. It's like some company can come over and they just want you to do the runway fashion
Right.
show. I would say I was a runway model.
That's beautiful. Ok, let's just go back to the movies. Quels sont les films dans lesquels vous avez déjà joué?
J'ai déjà joué dans Deep Within, Storm, 48 Hours, Payback, and Mastermind, Retaliation, Victimize, and Natsimaraj, and so many more that I don't even remember.
Right. Victimize, is it the one that was shot a couple of weeks ago?
Yes, it was by Kim Chalet, yeah.
Okay, so how was the experience? I know you're working with Kenneth Ngamne, so how was the experience working
Yes,
with
I am. The experience was amazing. The cast was wonderful.
Right.
We understand each other and we helped each other. They were, so it's a family, I would say like that. It's not just being there, being a character that you know, but you're sharing the same soul with something, feeling. The feelings, it's just there, but also the family is amazing. Yeah.
Bon, quels sont d'autres acteurs et cinéastes africains avec qui vous avez déjà travaillé?
J'ai travaillé avec Pascal Atouma.
Oui.
J'ai aussi travaillé avec Can Quintus,
Oui.
George Callow, Kobe Maxwell, Ken and Kingsley,
Right.
et beaucoup d'autres personnes.
Wow. Interesting. So, how much do you know about the Guinean cinema landscape, and do you have plans of contributing to make it grow further?
Yeah, I do know a little bit, but most of them are in dialect. Which is, I speak already 4 dialects from my
Okay,
country,
so they do
which
a
is
lot of
good.
indigenous film.
But I intend to go next year with some producers,
Right.
so we can do some in English and French. And the new project that I'm working on right now with Ken and Kobe Maxwell.
Right.
So I'm going back home next year, present my project and see where we'll go from there.
Right. Wow. Ok, so, quelles sont vos ambitions par rapport au cinéma africain?
Mon ambition, je dirais, bien que je vais toujours continuer à travailler très très dur, montrer des exemples aux jeunes gens,
Oui.
parce que I would say that I can say I'm a role model to my little sister and so many young girls.
Right.
So I'll keep working hard and excel to be a very humble and respectful person, and continue to work hard. So you never know. Somehow, someday, I can be a household name in the movie industry.
So keep working and be a humble artist. That's what we expect of artists. Humility.
Yeah.
Fatih Keita, thank you so much for joining us in this edition of African Cocktail.
Thanks for having me.
Do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in Maryland.
Thank you. You too.
Her name is Fatih Keita. She is a Guinean actress and model. She has also put her voice in the fight against the deadly Ebola virus. And like she said, humility is the key. When you're an artist, be humble. When you're humble, you stand. Okay, this is African Cocktail, 64th episode coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's ride on with very beautiful music. Then we shall be right back. Her name is Sienna.
Green when I pass through, I pass all the people where they ask say I pass through. I know they make mock me, I know they bed bop. They recap what I just before I lock them up. Yeah, who does them? My enemies are all though. Who ain't gone through, but I'm telling you when that's off. No, they confused, I go blow your type of fuse. Spend up with money, what else do I need? Get down to business. It's about
Africa Radio.
Nonsense, I give you rhymes to digest, and I kill you with one slap like insect. Past tense, I make the beat myself. I need no DJ, I can record myself. Up producers, I produce myself. No guy by my side, I get ding myself. Them say shaggy. I got the money, you can feel it when you're looking at my shoes. Bitty daddy glad every time I come a bush. Girl, they always be ready for bopping money tush. Money hustle hard all night, me at the bush. Live I'm mad.
And that one was released a couple of weeks ago. It's titled Ozienlen Chiengo. Her name is Sienna, a young Cameroonian rapper who is based in Douala, economic capital of Cameroon, from where Ifana Kwalar, our main correspondent in Central Africa, will be reporting. Just savor that beautiful one, then we shall be right back. And of course, you're listening to African Cocktail.
Africa Radio.
Dr. Roy on this beat, yo. Why refugee? Gilly handsome, making it sweet. African brothers, man. No
From Ozienlen Chiengo by Sienna, we move to Africa Unite. His name is Kelly Handsome, and we're still doing contemporary music. Of course, we shall be doing contemporary music in this edition of African Cocktail, which we are devoting to victims of the Ebola crisis. And of course, we are thinking of all young Africans, those ones who are humble enough to work for the growth of the beautiful African continent.
That's not who we are. A true African is a dancer. I'm not gonna let anybody chance him. British or American bouncer. Spread it all over the world like cancer. Happy people is who we are. Got beef for black people, please cool it down. It don't really matter who you are. We are black and we're proudly African. See, why not we all come together, put our hearts together, build a brighter future. It's all up to you and me, and I'm talking to you and me. It's time for the black nation, no time for discrimination. Yeah, say no to procrastination. The time is now for Africa.
tonight by Kelly Handsome. It's coming to you from Africa region, of course, from African Cocktail, the 64th edition this day, September 3rd, 2014, with your Wednesday friend, Ernest Kanjo. So, have you just received your prescriptions from your doctor? Then, are you looking for a convenient pharmacy to get all your medications and pharmaceutical counseling and many more? Then Hope Pharmacy is the right place to go. Hope Pharmacy provides free prescription pickup and delivery, free vitamins with your prescription order, easy transfer of prescriptions, free medication counseling, fast-track prescription service, no waste of time. Hope Pharmacy accepts major insurance coverages. So Hope Pharmacy is located at 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43231. 5791 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio 43231. Then the pharmacy is open every day, Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. and on Saturday the pharmacy opens at 9 a.m. and shuts its doors at 2:30 p.m. Then you can call 614-426-4160 to get to Hope Pharmacy. 614-426-4160. Then you will be live. You'll be there at Hope Pharmacy. So at Hope Pharmacy, we simply say your health is our priority. Okay, African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's have some music. Then we prepare to go to either N'Djamena, Chad or Maryland, USA. Another one is titled Doro Bucci. It's by Don Jay-Z featuring Tiwa Savage. Okay, beautiful contemporary music there. We are in West Africa, precisely Nigeria. Good morning or good afternoon to all my listeners in Abuja, Lagos, Ibadan, and of course, Calabar. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to the city of Antwerp in Belgium. Okay, a soul-searching piece there that has been hitting the headlines for the past couple of weeks. Doro Bucci, Don Jay-Z featuring Tiwa Savage. It's exactly 5 minutes to 11. Time for us to move over to Europe. And when we get to Europe, we shall take a flight to Belgium. Then once we get to Belgium, we shall stroll around the metropolis of Antwerp. In Antwerp, we have our regular man. His name is Titus Banyo, who is now on the line. Titus, welcome to the 64th episode of African Cocktail.
Yes, Ernest, good afternoon from the Kingdom of Belgium. To be precise, we are in the Diamond City, Antwerp. Yes, it's quite bright weather out here and very much like summer weather. A musical concert organized by Glamour Afro Mix will take place this Saturday in Liège, that's Luck in Belgium. The concert that will bring together artists like Charlie Marga, La Douce Flamme, Tukitu, Coco Agente, DJ Manu Killer, amongst others, is aimed at showcasing African beauty both in music and in physical beauty. Yes, Belgium-based Cameroonian rapper and hip-hop rising star Kosi Mbanga will soon be releasing a single entitled Money featuring Mr. Elap. Kosi, who has won the hearts of music lovers out here, is well known for his hit single Folere featuring Wanyo and produced by Slim Beats. Speaking to Batimo FM, Kosi confirmed that all is set and the date for the official release will soon be known. Yes, Ernest, schools in Belgium and other parts of Europe will open their doors on Monday, the 1st of September. After a summer holiday well spent by many, it is time for pupils and students to go back to bookwork. One thing is clear, and that's the situation of rentrée scolaire in Europe is definitely not the same as is the case in most African countries. Remember, in our days as students back in Cameroon, when it was time to go back to school after a long holiday period, most parents face hard times, especially as acquiring textbooks as well as most items on the school prospectus were usually bought. In Europe, especially in Belgium, that pinch felt is not as that which is felt by most parents back home. Here, better planning is done, and there will never be, or one will never see parents hovering around to buy textbooks or uniforms. The situation of hardship may be different to parents who have children in Europe. With such cases, the weight of rentrée scolaire falls on the shoulders of those in the diaspora, as they have no choice but send something home to support the school fees or buying of textbooks and other school needs. Yes, Ernest, that was the bit we gathered out here in Belgium, to be precise in Antwerp, where there is a lot of sunshine. And I hope if you have no question for me, I will definitely go out to have some sunshine.
Thank you. Perhaps just one or two questions for you. The first has to do with rentrée scolaire. I just want to find out, are there any challenges when children go back to school out there in Europe? Because you painted a picture of the situation which is different from Africa, but then I think it's not all roses out there in Europe. There must be some challenges when children are going back to school out there. What could that be?
Yes, Ernest, the challenge is that out here in Europe, I always say that most parents, the real parents, are still in the diaspora, because back home you don't face the situation where you have to get up early in the morning, you prepare your children to take them to school. The situation may occur, but on limited basis. But out here in Europe or in the diaspora, you have no choice, because you don't have cousins, nieces, and other family members who could do the work for you. But out here, the main challenge is that you have to get up very early in the morning to prepare the kids to go to school, and then you take your own, and then you go to your own work. And talking about challenges, well, we don't actually feel the challenge of maybe going to buy textbooks and all that, because here most schools, they do provide the textbooks for the children who go to school, especially the primary pupils. So the situation is not the same. But the main pinch falls on the fact that you have to get up early in the morning to get the kids ready for school.
Right. Then back to a domain which you master so well, Titus. I'm talking about entertainment. A lot has been going on in the Cameroonian film industry here in the diaspora, especially in the United States of America. But apparently, Belgium is silent. There is a CFI, a new wave of communication that is very amazing to everybody now, but apparently we hear nothing about Europe. So what is happening to the industry out there in Europe and in Belgium precisely? Are filmmakers still very active, Titus?
Yes, Ernest, I will begin by saying that I actually envy the situation of the Cameroon filmmakers out there in America, because I can see them, bubbling with a lot of energy. As compared to Belgium, well, Ernest, things have gone, we have rather gone to slumber, but then I did speak with the board chair of the Cameroon film industry, Mr. Ocha Vitalis, whom I channeled a few difficulties, but then we will be bouncing back. The main La Maison Mère, let me call it here that way, and that is Great Bridge International, where I belong. So we have been quiet, and everything has been quiet. So definitely we thought it wise that we have to bounce back, because it looks like other filmmakers are actually waiting on us to be the pace setters as we have always been. Well, Ernest, I think it is really a sad story that for a long time now Belgium has been sleeping as far as producing films out here is concerned. But then we think that, in French, somebody would like me to say, je me recule pour mieux sauter. So we took off some time to actually put things together, and when we come back, we'll definitely come back with a lot of steam, Ernest.
Je me recule pour bien sauter. Titus, that is a beautiful way of ending that correspondence from Antwerp. Thank you so much. We hope to have you again next week.
Definitely, Ernest. Bye-bye, and have a pleasant day.
Okay, his name is Titus Banyo. He is our main correspondent on this show from Europe and Belgium. He's also the CEO of Baltimore FM, one of the newest babies in the media landscape, especially as far as online broadcasting is concerned. African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Just listen to this music, then we will be back with you.
Anybody with doro fish doro choppy, anybody with doro beef doro mega doro super doro star doro mega superstar doro catchy, anybody with doro fish doro choppy, anybody with doro beef doro bad doro 007 doro nayaro doro they get the money.
Okay, you're still listening there to that beautiful one titled Doro Bucci by Don Jazzy and Tiwa Savage. It's coming to you from Africa Radio, the 64th episode there. Okay, like I said a while ago, we shall be moving to Central Africa, precisely Chad. Chad is a beautiful country situated at the north of Cameroon. Cameroon is also one of the giants in Central Africa. Now we have Fred Kayanti, who is the CEO of Cam Movies. He is a movie producer, and of course he runs the Cam Movies Merit Awards. Okay, Fred is on the line. We shall be having him just in a couple of seconds. Let's find out if he's in line first of all. Fred, are you there? Hello? Hello, Fred Kayanti.
Yes, hello.
Are you there?
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello, Fred Kayanti. Can you get me?
Yeah, I can get you.
Okay, I can get you 5 on 5. Fred Kayanti is a movie producer. He is the CEO of Cam Movies. He runs the Cam Movies Merit Awards. Fred, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you, Ernest.
I must appreciate your efforts. I know it's not technically very feasible to get to Chad from the USA, and you just told me a while ago that you are not in the capital city. So from where are you talking now, Fred?
Yeah, I am actually talking from Jamena in Chad.
Jamena, that's the capital.
Yes.
Oh, thank God. Okay. So, Fred, you're welcome to the show. We are going to look for time and talk about the Cam Movies Merit Awards, which is coming up in December. But today, I would like us to focus on a big project you just announced a few days back. And you said that CFI, which is the Cameroon film industry, will be venturing into what you have described as the biggest movie project. And you are inviting filmmakers and artists to subscribe to it. First, Fred, what do you mean by the biggest movie project CFI has ever had?
Okay, what I actually mean when I talk of the biggest project, that means this is a project where it will be first of its kind undertaken by CFI, whereby we will be having so many producers, so many executive producers, and so many directors from all over the world venturing into one single project.
Right. Okay, that's beautiful. And you say it's the first of its kind.
Is the first of its kind, because that has never happened before, to the best of my knowledge and to the information I've received from other filmmakers based in Cameroon.
Right. And Fred, why do you think this has never happened? So nobody has ever thought of this, and the idea is just coming up now.
Okay, I've been watching so many Cameroonian movies, and I can testify that when you go to the end note credit, you can tell how many people has worked on which project.
Right.
There has been a lot of collaborations, but there have been no collaboration where.
Hello? Hello? Okay, we just lost Fred Kayanti there. Like I said, we were truly expecting technical difficulties to get to Chad, but then I hope Fred is going to come back. Never mind, it's millions of miles away, and it's not usually possible to get someone talking from Chad, but we hope that Fred will be back on the airwaves. He's doing everything technically possible to get back to us, and once we have Fred, then we shall continue this very important conversation. Like I said, he is a movie producer who is at the verge of doing a project which has never happened he describes it as first of its kind, a giant project where you're going to have many producers, many directors. In short, it's going to be a huge cast, a huge crew. Okay, let's see if Fred is back on the line at exactly 11 minutes past 7 here in Columbus. Okay, Fred Kenti, are you back on the line? Hello?
Yeah, hello?
Oh, Fred, you're back.
Yes, I'm back on the line.
Okay, thanks so much. So I was trying to find out why you think this idea is just coming at this time. Hello, Fred.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yes, you're trying to find out why the idea is the first of its kind, right?
Yes, and why the idea is just coming up now. Why had somebody not brought up this idea long ago?
Well, you know, like in every other industry, Cameroon film industry is an emerging film industry. So these kind of ideas will always come at the lead. Everybody will begin doing their own things and doing whatever they're trying to do until we reach that point where we feel that, okay, now we have to think about breakthrough projects, something that can portray the industry positively. We've been doing movies with little budget, so now we thought of it like, okay, if we come together as a group and instead of doing one movie which you will not do it very well, why not just come together as a group and do quality movies?
Right. That's a beautiful idea. Then let me ask a straightforward question. Who is going to own that project? Is it going to be all of you who have put in your resources?
Yes. This project is not going to be owned by anyone. This project is called the Project 237 Motion Pictures. It's not going to be owned by anyone. It's going to be owned by everybody that subscribes to this project. Right. So every producer, every film director, every light technician, every crew member that has participated in this project owns this project. So there is nobody that is going to have credit for owning the project.
Okay, so have you heard the story yet, and how different is it going to be from other stories that have already been told?
Okay, we've not got the story yet because we are trying to get together as many signatures as possible for towards this project. So far we have approximately 5 scriptwriters and 5. Okay, so when all of these people, when we put all of these teams together, they will sit down and come up with a script. Not even one script, they will come up with different stories and then they will put it in front of the board. And all of us will then vote that this is the story we want, and we will give reasons why each of us wants this particular story. That is how we are going to get the story.
So is this story going to be written by one person, or a group of people will come together and write one story?
Yeah, we will have different stories, and then with the one story that will be voted by the team,
right,
we will then get all of the other writers to contribute, like to work together on the storyline.
Right. Okay, Fred, tell me, how many people do you expect to be on this project?
We are expecting as many people as possible. We don't want to put a limit to the number of people we want, because we as a team don't as many people on board, so that this will save us the future. Because if we have, for example, 20 film directors, we can split them to do different films. We must not just do one single project. We might use the first team to do the first project and the second team to do a project. So we will then have different groups whereby they are made up of professionals.
Right. So, Fred, tell me concretely, how is this project going to be carried out, and how long is it going to take, and how do you expect to do the work?
Okay, this project, I cannot really tell you how this project is going to be carried out right now, because we are still in the initiation phase of the project.
Right.
So it's only afterward, when we've got all our subscribers, then we will then have a meeting of all subscribers. Then that's when we are going to be able to answer a question on how this project is going to be carried out. And for how long the project is going to take, that also depends, because we are not just going to do a quick one week shoot of a project or something. It's going to take a long time. Pre-production is going to take us a very long time, depending on the number of people we have on board and the number of meetings we are going to schedule. So I'm looking at approximately 2 to 3 months. That is what I'm looking at in terms of the duration of the project.
Okay, Fred, you definitely have Cameroonian filmmakers coming from all other parts of the world. You are in charge, for instance. Akim Macaulay is in the US. We have other filmmakers in Europe, like Titus Banyo, and these people have different experiences based on their different film cultures and based on the different environments in which they live. So, do you think this could rather create conflict? If not, how are you going to harmonize all the skills so that it runs smoothly?
Well, in every organization, in every meeting where there's people, where there's human beings, we will always have conflict. But it depends on how you manage the conflict. Okay, we know that these are things that can easily generate conflict or people trying to fight to own titles or something. But how we're going to work on this project based on experience. We all know as filmmakers, we all know who is experienced in the industry. For example, somebody like Akim, for example, is an experienced get somebody who is just from school, from a film school as a director, and then put him to direct a project when Akim is there. That is impossible. But what will happen is, in each section, in each department, each crew will have the head of the crew. For example, if Akim is the director of the film, if he's been chosen as the main director of the film, you might have, for example, Neva Lawrence as the assistant film director, and you might have Musin Derek as the second assistant film director.
Right.
So all of them will be working and putting their knowledge together onto the same project. So it's not going to be something where somebody will feel too big for themselves.
Right. And Fred Keanti, this is going to require a lot of means. Like I said, people are spread all over the world. So how are you going to coordinate all of this? Are you going to be holding meetings online or what? Just explain. Hello? Hello, Fred. Okay, unfortunately, we lost him again, but then we are happy that we can at least get him talking from where he is. We know it's always technically difficult to link up with a country like Chad. Okay, and let's find out if Fred is back. Okay, Fred Keanti, once again, welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to find out how you're going to coordinate this project, because people are spread all over the world, and you definitely be having meetings to discuss the project. How is that going to happen?
Okay, we are in a digital world. That's the first thing.
Right.
We can always have conferences online. We can have group chats on WhatsApp. We can have Facebook chat and so on. In the initial process, we cyber type of conferences and so on, until we finally reach the stage where we have to start inviting people to meet.
Right.
People are on the ground now. Yeah, when people will get to the ground, which will be Cameroon, if, for example, we're going to be shooting the project in Cameroon in the next 1 month, then that's when we start telling people, okay, yeah, you've been chosen as the director of this project. Now we need you on the ground, for us to start doing all the pre-production stuff.
Right.
So this is how we're going to coordinate it, because we cannot to come down to Cameroon for a meeting.
Right. Okay, Fred, my vague imagination is that this is going to be a high budget production. We can be we can be imagining that it's going to be to the tune of hundreds of millions of CFA francs, and this is so much money that is put into a movie in a country where the industry is just about to kick off with a lot of problems with marketing. Now, have you sized the market, and you believe that when this production is going to be complete, you're definitely going to have the market?
Okay, your question is if we are going to have the market.
That is the question, in simple terms.
Okay, yes. Okay, these days, okay, we've done so many films without thinking about the market. This is one of we've got in all the experts we can have all over the world, so that we can first of all put our heads together on looking at the market first. Okay, we are going to do everything possible to have marketing as the first initial the priority, like the priority. That is what we're going to put first.
Right.
Marketing, because we have done movies in down, and then we are excited about the story, and then we go shooting without thinking about marketing. But this project, the first thing that we are going to be thinking about is marketing, and we are going to use all the media outlets that are available in Cameroon to do the marketing. We're going to try and contact different media houses or television houses around the world to see how we can put forward this project before we actually even get into production.
Right. Okay, quick question before we run off, Fred. Is this going to be some Cameroonians will put it this way, sovereignty project, which means that he will be entirely Cameroonian, the cast Cameroonian, the crew Cameroonian, or you're going to invite some foreigners to be in the production?
Well, when we are looking at the market, for now, Cameroon, we don't really have a market. Our faces don't really have a market that yet. So we erasing the possibility of getting some popular faces to collaborate with us in this project. So we can't actually wipe out that idea of maybe getting.
Right. But the story will be purely Cameroonian. Okay, we lost Fred again. Okay, we're about to run off that conversation. If he comes back, fine. If he doesn't, then at least we've had 80% of this conversation, which I must say I'm very pleased we succeeded in having. Okay, African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's see if Fred is back so that we run off this discussion. Okay, let's move back to Jamina. Fred, are you there? Hello? Okay, apparently we don't have Fred Keyanti. Okay, we shall definitely be back with him. Let's have some music, then we'll be right back.
Music. That's all.
Hey, hey.
Oh no, Jama, what did people from?
Hey, what did Jama want to say? Niaba Krum Hampu. A-Life African Market, a beer store, Cassia Columbus.
A-Life Supermarket, a walk master, Doom, Baby, and Crabata, Crum Hay.
Maybe a debut. Name A-Life African Market, your store for cry, a ton fresh food stuff. Opedian, Banche, Bayre, Fufu, and Nampapa be I the bon kind day. And one A-Life. One year master that form for.
No. Nani Anamquana A-Life African Market at home.
Other China me mom ye. A-Life your one-stop shopper. Or ton and co papa a yahunami. Money transfer. And a unity the fregan and
you're not touching what then and Yagro A-Life African Market. I want most would name Cleveland Avenue Chase way.
That's a winning home put. And a one
CVS at you and can Dr. Yosu Hospital Danda de Nimuha. And you never see a for pay life for Chiraquaya and one is over 4384 Cleveland Avenue, Columbus, Ohio, Haya, and Afrewo 614-414-0330 and now says 614-270-7976.
A-Life African Market.
It's Micah E on the beat.
Hey, this one na Sara. The beat is tana. It go make you manya. Ines is in manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, mama Africa, ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. Everybody ricotta, mama Africa, ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah. This one na Sara. The beat is tana. It go make you manya. Ines is in manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Nandi walanya, hey. Nandi Africa Radio. Make you feel better. This
Africa Radio and African Cocktail coming to you this Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2014. We just had Fred Keanti talking to us from the capital of Chad, N'Djamena. Fred is a movie producer. He works with the United Nations, but then Fred is deeply rooted in the entertainment business, and of course he's one of those who have been doing everything to promote this sector as far as Africa is concerned. So like Fred was saying, he's on the verge of doing a very gigantic movie project which is going to involve scores of Cameroonians, and the possibility of bringing in some foreigners too is not ruled out completely. Africa Radio and African Cocktail coming to you this Wednesday. My name is Ernest. Kanjo. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to South Africa to have our man Solomon Atta.
Forget your sorrow. Makachuku, you go buy and play for your moto. Hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. It go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha. People with kalaka. Nandi walanya. Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Zambia, Uganda, South Africa, Togo, Cameroon, Burundi, also Benin Republic. Hey, oh yeah, make you ricotta, mama Africa, ricotta, hey, make you dance, yeah. Everybody ricotta, mama Africa, ricotta, hey, make you dance, yeah.
And that one is titled Mama Africa, is by Bracket, one of Nigeria's leading Afro hip-hop artists. Okay, we hear Fred Keanti is back on the line. Fred, once again, you are welcome.
Yeah, the line just went off, and I'm sorry about that.
I understand, Fred, is not very feasible to have communication between Chad and the US. I understand.
Yeah, I know.
Fred, we're about to run off our discussion and talking about the market. So you were saying that you're going to make some studies to understand how the market looks like before you get into the production.
Yes, that's correct. And I was saying that we will not rule out the possibilities of getting Nigerians or Ghanaians or even American artists on this project.
Right. Let me just prop in there, Fred, to say that many Cameroonians have criticized the involvement of foreigners in your productions. Yet there is a good justification for it. But apparently, Cameroonian filmmakers don't seem to communicate with their public and tell them why they bring in these foreign faces. People keep saying that you guys are doing copycatting, that you are not original, yet you have a problem with marketing and you are not explaining to the public.
Yeah, you see, we are in the 21st century. The things that Nigeria went through or Ghana went through in the past, it's not the same today. I don't think we will have to follow the same path, like reinvent our own industry on our own. It's a little bit difficult. We've been doing that for almost the past 10 years, and nothing is changing.
Right.
So it's time for us to use the available facilities, the available opportunities and collaboration to be able to break through the market.
Okay, so what are you telling Cameroonian filmmakers who are just learning about this initiative now and may want to be part of it?
Well, I can only tell them that they should trust in this project. They should believe in what we want to do. This is one of the projects where they will invest very little because there are so many people involved. And this project is one of those projects where people are going to bring in their skills without pay. For example, the directors are going to come in. That is their own contribution. They are not going to be paying. They are not going to be paid as directors. All we will have to do is bring in our skills to do a single project. So it will be cost effective and it will be reasonable for anybody who is venture into this project.
We have Nina's Diary that has won over 30 awards and is today known as one of Cameroon's leading productions as far as recognition is concerned. Do you have that kind of a dream being nursed around this project you are about to initiate?
Yes. I would just like to draw your attention to the fact that this project was actually initiated by myself and Honorine, Adnori
Yeah.
of Nina's Dowry, the guy who was the lead actor in Nina's Dowry. So you can imagine those are the minds that we have in Cameroon, the creative minds. So we all of them are on board.
And are you going to involve the Cameroonian government through the Ministry of Culture in this project? Because, like I said a while ago, this seems to be a project which is going to promote sovereignty.
Yes, we are going to do our best to try and involve them. We've tried in the past individually, it didn't work. Maybe with a huge project like this, we'll try and involve the Minister of Culture and see if.
All right. Okay, Fred Kianti, we want to thank you so much for taking off time to talk about this project. I'll probably have you again in the next couple of weeks to talk about the Cam Movies Merit Awards, which I hear is already in gestation.
Okay, no problem, sir.
Okay, do have a fantastic rest of the day out there in the Chadian capital of N'Djamena. I know Fred is always on the field, and don't be surprised that soon after this interview, he's going to hit the road to some other part of the country for United Nations. The UN is always on the field, and Fred is a field man, but he always finds time to do what he loves doing. I mean, filmmaking. Okay, this is African Cocktail, the 64th episode coming to you from Africa Radio. We still have two of our reporters, Solomon in South Africa and Ifana Kwalar in Cameroon. So we are going to prepare to have them just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail. But for those of you listening to us at this moment and who are finding a good place to shop for all your family food stuff, and it has not been easy, especially those who live in the city of Columbus, then a live African market is just the solution. A live African market is a one-stop shop that sells fresh farm produce at cheaper prices. Shop for plantain, chicken, fish, meat, fufu, yam, and many more. A live African market also provides money transfer, calling cards, beauty products, and it is located at 4384 Cleveland Avenue behind CVS Pharmacy at junction of Morse Road and Cleveland Avenue. I take it again, 4384 Cleveland Avenue behind CVS Pharmacy at junction of Morse Road and Cleveland Avenue. The time you can get to that pharmacy or to that African market is 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Monday to Saturday, then 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. on Sunday.
No man a day like you, daddy. You give me life. No man a day like you. I waka up and down. I no see no man like you. You are one of a kind. Mommy, I miss you, just 'cause no man. It's Mighty E on the beat.
Hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. We go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. This one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. We go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Nandi walanya, hey. Nandi kalanya. It gon' make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It gon' make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Kenya, Rwanda and Tanzania. Togo, Cameroon, Niger, Ghana, Southern Sudan. Oh yeah, make you ricotta, ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta, ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. One Sara Sara le, oh Sara Sara le. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. Oh Sara Sara le, mama Africa Sara Sara le. Make you dance, yeah, yeah, yeah. This one not die, yo. If you dance up easy, make you no fight, oh. You go forget your sorrow. Makachuku, you go buy and play for your moto. Hey, hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tarantana. You go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha. Hey, people with kalaka. Hey, nandi walanya. Hey, nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Zambia, Uganda, South Africa, Togo, Cameroon, Burundi, also Benin Republic. Hey, oh yeah, make you.
Uganda, Cameroon, Burundi. Okay, that is bracket. Paying homage to the people of Africa in those countries. And of course, it's coming to you from Africa region. This show is African Cocktail. A bright Wednesday morning here in the city of Columbus. Just right ahead, we shall be moving to South Africa. But for now, let's serve us some beautiful contemporary music. And talking about the beauty of music, Stanley ended it Hempe some time ago. But then his brother and Cameroonian fellow man, Steve Lil Ebanga, did Hempe in his own way. He was paying tribute to Stanley. It came out to be a very beautiful, scintillating, soul searching. Give it whatever adjective you can, but then Hempe Steve Lil version is fantastic. Listen to it.
Sara Sara, the beat is tarantana. You go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta hey. Make you dance yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta hey. Make you dance yeah, 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 yeah. This one na Sara Sara, the beat is tarantana. You go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. This is for people with chalacha, hey. People with kalaka, hey. Nandi walanya, hey. Nandi kalanya. It go make you feel better. This can take away palaba. This can take away wahala. It go make you feel Niger. Oh yeah, let's go to Kenya, Rwanda and Tanzania. Togo, Cameroon, Niger. Yeah.
Okay, we just had Steelville there in his own version of Hempe. Let's listen to Adele Clarice, who's also a rising Cameroonian star. Okay, she is also a very brilliant singer. This is African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio. Just to say that there's a lot of news coming from South Africa this day. Of course, there is some breaking news coming from South Africa, so don't just go away. The news will be broken in a short while.
Keep on moving when everything getting worse. This is my dream.
Africa Radio.
Let go my dream. God done bless me. And I'm heading to the top. Excuse me. But the bounce on my way trying to stop me. Stop me. Never let go. I keep on fighting. Hey, let's go this way. Hey, let's go this way. This is my thing. This is my song. This is my dream. This is my thing. This is my
Hey, there is a big resignation in South Africa. News just reaching us now says there is a very, very big resignation in South Africa. Our man Solomon Atta will be confirming that just right ahead. He'll be reporting from Johannesburg. So don't just go away. You're listening to the 64th episode of African Cocktail coming to you from Africa Radio with Ernest Kanjo. Beautiful music also on the agenda this morning. This is my thing. Adele Clarice. From Adele Clarice, we move over to Cameroonian-born, USA-based Giga Flames. Giga was one of our guests on this show some time ago, just like Adele Clarice. Okay, and that one is titled Like I Do. Okay, African Cocktail is coming to you from Africa Radio. Let's ride on with good music while we brace to go either to Johannesburg, South Africa, or to Douala, Cameroon.
I wanna know the tribulations that you've been through, things that you've seen, and dreams that you come true. Let me be the one you always wanna talk to. Tell me everything, cause you know that I got you. My life without you seems like a candle. It slowly runs out, there's nothing that I can do. These niggas out here only wanna fuck you. I guarantee I'll never leave you once I got you. Give me a second chance, baby, I'ma keep it real. Fuck what they say, baby, I'ma be your king. Dreams come true, so you can be my queen. Never lose my mind till the day that I left you. Independent chick, there's nothing that you can do. I'm very, very proud to say that I love you.
Remember when my friends used to call me crazy, told me that you could have been the one to save me. I always say that it's all because they can't love you like I do. Now that it's official, baby, I'm so proud to call you my lady. Now the world ain't never so because they can't love you like I do.
And so a top official resigns in South Africa. Top official. Breaking news coming from that end. Don't just go away. It is going to be broken on this show live by our man in Johannesburg. Solomon has been sojourning the country and of course is ready to give us that breaking news. You will be with him just right ahead in this edition of African Cocktail.
Gotta admit that you're quite beautiful. Flyer than the rest of them, you the best of them. No competition, you number one on my podium. Give you everything you want, ain't no questions there. You got me flying high, I'm in the atmosphere. I'm quite curious, you got me so delirious. Face so beautiful, body so delicious. So once you take it from
Like I Do It by Giga Flames, USA-based Cameroonian artist. Okay, we shall not have that one in its entirety because our reporter in Central Africa is already on the line. Ifana Kwalar is at the banks of the River Vuri in Douala, Cameroon's economic capital. Welcome to the show, Ifana.
Good afternoon, Ernest and listeners of African Cocktail. Welcome to the show. Ernest, a lot has been happening in the area of sports in the sub-region and precisely in Cameroon, one of Africa's leading football nations, at least as far as records are concerned. Let us begin with the country's national football team, the Indomitable Lions, which has already been a great sense sensation to say that some changes resulting to what people here describe as hard decisions have been made within the squad. The most prominent of such changes is the transfer of captainship from internationally acclaimed striker Samuel Eto'o to midfielder Stefan Dia. The midfielder was appointed by Cameroon's Minister of Sport and Physical Education, a move which has been hugely criticized, perhaps not because he changed the captain, but because according to observers, such a decision should come from the coach of the team and not a minister, despite his titular role. But Ernest, there's a twist to the story. Paradoxically, and from recent reports, Stefan Bier has turned down his new position. According to the midfielder, who has gone back to his French Division 1 side of view, the disposition of Eto'o of the captainship was a calculated ploy by some big guns to destabilize the striker's career with the national team, and so Bier would want to benefit from such circumstances to become captain for the indomitable Lions. Well, we will dig more into this latest development. Meanwhile, soon after this decision, Eto'o announced he was retiring from international football. He now concentrates with club football in the UK, where he just signed with English Premier side Everton and has already had a goal in the league which kicked off last week. Two other players, Jean De Macron and Achille Webo, have also come to the end of their stay with the national team and have officially announced their departure. The Cameroon will be playing against the Democratic Republic of Congo this Saturday in a preparatory match ahead of 2015 African Cup of Nations qualifier. They will beat Ivory Coast 4 days later.
That will be great matches to watch, of course. And still in sports, we hear there was consternation when remains of Cameroonian-born striker Albert Bosse, who plays for GS Kabylie, and Algerian Division 1 side, arrived in Cameroon. Ifana.
Yes, Ernest. Abose did not survive a stone shot on his head after a top league game that pitted his side to USM Alger, in which his side lost 1-2. A seemingly angry fan of his club is supposed to have missile a stone to the player's head, and he went crashing, dying shortly after. Ebose had, however, scored the lone goal for his side from a penalty spot. His unreasonable killing has been heavily criticized by Cameroonians, even though Algerian football authorities showed a lot of remorse and respect for the fallen hero. The 24-year-old football player was buried in his native Douala over the weekend. Quite a regrettable story, Ernest.
Really regrettable and sad. Okay, we pray no such incident occurs again. It was not all gloomy, Ifana, and we are told that the way the art of music is practiced in Cameroon may soon not be the same again.
Definitely, Ernest. A lot of more skills and professionalism will be injected in songs that will henceforth be released from Cameroon. This will be the result of constant training and counseling, which young musicians will be benefiting from experts under the banner of the newly created Encourage the Young National Trade Union of Musicians, known by its French acronym as SINOPROM. The trade union body has been launched and has gone fully operational. SINOPROM will also assist young singers in production activities. Prior to its launching, the Minister of Culture, Amadou Tumuna, donated musical equipment to over 100 artists and made public a list of musicians who are eligible to receive payment of royalties. And that's the bit we gathered from Spain. We will be back next week for more stories.
Definitely, Ifana. We hope to have you next week for more stories from that end. Thank you so much. That was our permanent reporter in Central Africa. She was reporting from Douala. Douala is the economic capital of Cameroon. And this is African Cocktail, a 64th episode. After Douala, Cameroon, it will be Johannesburg, South Africa. But before we get to Johannesburg, Naomi actually is here with It's My Life. Today is My Life by Naomi Achu, and of course we want to say that the people of South Africa are still living. They still have life in them because life goes on despite whatever thing happens. I'm talking about something that has happened. We hear a top brass in South Africa has just thrown in the towel. There is a big resignation from that country, and so what is happening down south? Solomon Atta is on the line. Solomon, welcome to African Cocktail, and tell us just what is happening down there in South Africa. Who has resigned, Solomon?
Thank you, Ernest. Welcome to you and your listeners to Johannesburg, the city of gold. Ernest, indeed, there has been big news reported here by papers and carried by the national TV stations here and other international stations as well. Our IEC person, the lady that is in charge of the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa, has resigned, and this is following the fact that prior to the May 7 election of 2014, there was a public protector report that found that there was maladministration in the acquisition of the current IEC headquarters. This led to several opposition parties in Parliament asking her to resign. She resisted, and she was later dragged to court, and the court has now dismissed her further appeals. And yesterday the bombshell dropped, and she had to resign.
Wow. Solomon, still talking about court decisions, we hear the official opposition has just won a Supreme Court case against President Zuma, and we hear the case refers to the so-called spy tapes which led to corruption charges being dropped against President Zuma in 2009. Could you tell us more about that, Solomon?
Yes, Ernest, indeed, that happens at the Supreme Court of Appeals in Bloemfontein, which is the judiciary headquarters of South Africa. And South Africa has three headquarters: the political headquarters in Pretoria, the legislative headquarters in Cape Town, where the Parliament is, and the judiciary headquarters is in Bloemfontein. So 10 or so days ago, the official opposition, the Democratic Alliance, led by its leader, Helen Zille, who is also the Premier of the Western Cape, were at the court where the case, because they had initially won that particular case, and it's referring to the spy tapes saga in earlier courts, but there was an appeal that was launched by the lawyers of President Jacob Zuma. But the case was thrown out of court, dismissed with cost, meaning that the lawyers of President Jacob Zuma or President Jacob Zuma has to pay the cost of that appeal to the Democratic Alliance. So, and that case has been thrown out. Analysts are split with mixed reactions about this, because some saying that perhaps this just opens the door for the 700 or so corruption charges to be reinstated against President Jacob Zuma. So, and that is like a really piece of big news that broke a couple of days ago. And now there was also the Supreme Court has asked a certain retired judge to be able to scan through what is now known as the spy tapes to see what is understood as confidential, and it's now up to that judge to hand over to determine which of these material needs to be handed out to the Democratic Alliance, which is also the official opposition in Parliament. And
wow. Now, Solomon, Lesotho is that a small country which is encircled by South Africa. In fact, Lesotho is found in South Africa, and we hear people may not be having sleep for the next couple of weeks or months because there has been an attempted coup in that country, and urgent meetings have been held in Pretoria to look into the situation. Solomon, could you just throw more light on that?
Yes, and that is sad news. I must remind you and your listeners that Lesotho is a small mountain country, actually a kingdom, which is surrounded all around its borders by the Republic of South Africa. There was a coup that happened there in the late hours of Saturday and the early hours of Sunday, and the Prime Minister Thomas Tabane has now exiled himself in South Africa. There were urgent meetings that were convened at the Union Building, that is the official office of the President of South Africa, which looked into discussing some of the trying to find some kind of resolutions around that coup that is now taking place. Although the sitting military is saying that no, they haven't seized power, but the fact that the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister are now in South Africa. And in an earlier interview with an international broadcaster, he mentioned that he will not be going back home until he can determine that he will not be killed. So as a matter of fact, it is a jittery situation in Maseru because the coup is actually in effect, and reports today, about 2 or so hours ago, reported that the situation has now deteriorated. So we are keeping a very, very close eye on that one and keeping our ear to the ground, and I will be updating you as far as if we hear any further development.
Now, keeping our eyes open and hoping that the situation is going to be better than what we have now. Now, Solomon, Big Brother Africa is definitely one of the most famous TV reality shows, not only in South Africa, but on the entire continent. And we hear the studio where that show is produced has been engulfed by flames, and which has caused season 9 of Big Brother Africa to be suspended.
Yes, indeed, that is a sad news. In fact, that was that particular show, the Big Brother Africa show, has launched many an entertainment career for youth in Africa. And as it was unfortunate that the news media reported a fire at the Sesame Studios where the show is filmed and broadcast live across the continent. For now, they've reported that the show has now been postponed, not indefinitely, but till further notice, because the show was meant to start airing on Sunday, the 7th of September. So, Ernest, again, this is a very important or very popular show as far as reality television on the continent is concerned, and in fact, it would be understood that most of the contestants from 14 African countries were already here in South Africa, and now that the show has now been put on hold, I think until the studio has been repaired, again, we will be following up updates. The fire took place during the breaking hours of Sunday, so we will be keeping an eye on that one, and we'll be giving you all the feedback that would have emerged from that, Ernest.
Definitely, Solomon. So, how do the markets look like, Solomon?
Ernest, I'm just going to take you quickly across the African currency. The rand and naira, you will need 15 naira and 18 cents to buy 1 rand. You will need 83 Botswanan dollar to buy 1 rand. You will need at least 8 cents, 30 Kenyan shillings for 1 rand. And Egypt pound is costing you have to at least have 67 Egyptian pound to get 1 rand. So, and there's one of very stronger currencies on the continent. The Ghanaian cedi will cost you just about 35. 1 rand will cost you just about 35 Ghanaian cents. And the cedi has actually strengthened, and as I should mention, this year across several currencies on the continent. Quickly, and let's look at the metals. Gold is trading at $1,260.49. Platinum is at $1,412 an ounce, and then oil, the Brent crude is traded at $100.35 a barrel, and the JSE closing just under 51,800. And as the weather in Johannesburg is wonderful, it was not a cloud in the sky type of day, and it was warm. And I shall be speaking to you again next week on African Cocktail, and this has been Solomon Atta in the City of Gold in Johannesburg, South Africa.
Solomon Atta in the City of Gold in Johannesburg, South Africa. Quite a brilliant report there with that breaking news of the resignation of the chairperson of the Independent Electoral Commission of South Africa. Solomon, thank you so much. We hope to be with you again next week for yet another rich package from that end. And in something like 2 minutes, we shall be running off this edition of African Cocktail. Time for me to start voting thanks, and we want to say thank you so much to Fatih Keita, a Guinean actress who talked to us from Maryland. We also want to thank you so much, Ifana Kuala, our reporter in Cameroon. For some reasons, we didn't have our main guest, and of course, Baby Black. Black Baby is a Cameroonian singer, but he shall be back next week on this show. Okay, thank you so much, and we'll be right back to run off this edition of African Cocktail.
Mama, yes, I love you. You will never let me down. Yeah, Mama, yes, I need you. You will always be the one for me. Mama, I love you. You will always be the one I need. Mama, I need you. You will always be the one for me. Mama, I love you. You will always be the one I need. Mama, I need you.
And just before our signature tune, when you were listening there to Mama by Missy BK, Canadian-based Cameroonian contemporary singer, and that beautiful one has brought us to the end of this edition of African Cocktail at exactly 11:59. That came to you from Africa Radio, and at this point in time, we are putting a full stop to this 64th episode of the show. This day, Wednesday, September the 3rd, 2014. It was a big and dynamic team that kept you company. African Kitchen Manager Suzanne A. Belgium correspondent Titus Banyo, Germany correspondent Maxwell Adjik, South Connect correspondent Solomon Atta, Central African correspondent Ifana Kwalara, African Tele Review, Crystal Beauty, Resource Person number 1, Kenneth Ngamne, Resource Person number 2, Solomon Koyate, Resource Person number 3, Matthew Ayon, Content Critique, The White Brokery, Production Collaboration, Crystal Beauty of The Crystal Beauty Show, African Cocktail Online Promo Banner, Ajik Maxwell, Bo Boateng, Guests at Large, Fatih Keita, who spoke to us from Maryland, then Fred Kayanti, who spoke to us from Jamena, Chad. Then collaboration, we had Big Bo, Gentle, Awal Mohammed, DJ Cash, Mayo Makinde, Seran KK. For coordination, we had Nana Ampem, Davis Adeneho Apia. My name is Ernest, Kanjo, regular host of the show. I'll join you again next week for yet another edition of African Cocktail. And until we meet next Wednesday, it is bye bye, ciao, au revoir, merci, I'm gone. See you, to God be the glory.